clap.
All right, we ready?
Yeah. Cool. Sweet.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Peter,
Ian.
and we're here in the Subner Redstone studio. Gotta say that for legal reasons. And we're here with another episode of the MC Quadcast.
We're back.
Back.
How was your summer? Good?
It's a good summer.
Yeah.
Internship.
Me too. A lot of work.
Oh yeah, I was
A lot of
living
work.
here. I was because my internship was in Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was a good. It was a
That's
good
nice.
gig. It was a good gig.
Damn. I stayed at home, but it was just like work, go to the gym, sleep,
Yeah.
rinse and repeat.
Oh, I was getting up
5
at
days.
the train to Brooklyn was like an hour, so I was getting up at like 6:30 every day
Yeah.
to get there by
No,
9.
me too. I was up at like 5 a.m. It was
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was
The working
just-
life.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Party's over, dude.
yeah,
Senior
both
year.
seniors, yeah.
The party's over. It's kind of scary. I'm like thinking about that now. I'm like, this is like the last time I'm gonna be able to do this.
I wonder a lot,
man
like,
child.
every time I see a person, like, is this the last time I'm going to see this person?
Right?
Like, we got a lot of friends here. I don't want to make anyone depressed, but, like, it's just something you think about senior year.
It is weird. It's like, it's very weird. It's like, you only do this for 4 years, and then it's like, okay, now you're an adult,
Yeah.
you know?
It
It's kind of
feels like
bizarre,
a lot,
right?
like, when you look back, it feels like it wasn't a lot, but then you realize, like, wow, I did a ton in 4
Right?
years.
Just like how much you've grown and stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But,
And for anyone wondering, we had to say goodbye to Ariella. She got a real job, and so she couldn't screw around with us anymore.
yeah, us bums.
Yeah.
No, congrats to Ariella. She's making moves,
Yeah.
so good for her.
Yeah.
So talk of the town right now.
Oh yeah, big news for our senior year.
Yeah, really.
It's
really hot
it's like the
ticket
biggest
stuff.
it's the biggest news. It's access control. You know, having to sign into every building. You can't go. You know, where you want to go.
Yeah.
Um.
So can you, because I live off campus, so I've seen like the Instagram posts and I've seen all like the hype and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
But you're an RA,
Yeah.
so you know how this stuff really works. Can
Yeah.
you give me like a breakdown? Because I don't know exactly what the rules are.
Yeah.
And I talk to one person, they say this, another person says this, and I'm very confused.
So they've made a couple changes, but nothing really not super significant stuff. Like
Mhm.
no, they didn't like repeal anything. They just kind of changed how a couple of the rules worked.
Okay.
But basically, what it is if you are a resident of Manhattan College, you can only get into the building in which you live unless you are signed in by another person. So if I live in Haren
Okay.
and I want to go to Lee, my friend from Lee has to sign me in
Okay.
at all times.
Huh.
And no signing in people past 12 on weekdays, and then on weekends you can stay till 2 a.m.
On weekends.
Yeah.
So
And weekends are Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So I
That's
got
how that works.
2 questions. What's the difference between what we have now and what it was like previously?
At any time of the day, I could just walk into Lee and it wouldn't matter, or I could walk into OB and it wouldn't
So
matter.
if you're a Haren resident, you can just walk in any time of the day.
Yeah, any time of the day you used to be able to just walk in. Now
I thought it was like
now
af-
if it's
I
like
thought it
now
was
if it's like a two
after
no
midnight.
yeah, if it was after midnight you had to be signed in by someone of the same
Same gender.
gender. But any time before midnight you were golden.
So how does gender play in now? Even if it's
Gender
during
doesn't
the day?
matter during the day. It only applies to overnight guests. Now, if you want to bring in a guest, even if they're a Manhattan College resident, if it's past midnight, they need a guest pass. And guest passes aren't
Wow.
physical anymore. They're all online.
All right, that's convenient though. But I mean, that's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, well, it's the change was made for safety
For
reasons.
safety purposes.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, I'm off campus,
So you couldn't get in anywhere.
so I wouldn't be able to get in. I would need someone to sign me in.
Yeah, everywhere.
Right? Everywhere,
Yeah.
any time of the day. But that
Mhm.
goes for anybody now.
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
unless if you live in Haren, you have to sign in to go to Haren.
I guess what I'm wondering is like, was there a catalyst for this? Like, did something happen? Like, was there like a legitimate safety like problem, or are they just doing this because like I know other schools do this?
Yeah,
Because
they do.
Personally, like, when I lived on campus, I never felt that, like, my safety would have been at risk, you know? And...
Yeah. I think the reason why the administrators, I mean, we have our old director of residence life moved on to a different institution.
Okay.
And a new director of residence life, Charles Clancy, came on. And, you know, he recognized things that needed to be, that he thought needed to be changed and improved, you know, in his opinion. And so like, there were, from an RA perspective, you know, there, like, in the first couple weeks of school, we would, like, for kids, like, drinking and stuff like that, we would have, like, over 100 documentations.
Wow. Wow.
And this year, apparently, it's only been 15. So from that perspective, that's kind of why they're doing it, is to, like...
Wow. So just, a lot of it probably is to limit kind of just misconduct and mischief, because kids
in the halls.
You can't run from Haren to Lee and go party up or whatever.
And they can keep track of everyone who's there, so that if anything does happen, they have a list of everyone.
So it really is like a you know who's in, who's out kind of deal.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
But
it's just like it's, you don't, anytime something changes that puts more restrictions on what you can do, no one wants it. No one wants that. Like, and they know that nobody wants it. They knew that no student was going to be, don't let me in.
Yeah, I love
this.
This
Woo!
Yeah.
So like, they're not stupid. They know why that we don't like it.
No, I get it, and on paper, it makes complete sense.
Yeah, from like an administrative point of view, I get it.
From an administrative and a liability point of view, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Makes total sense, but I could definitely see if I still lived on campus, I would be really upset, you know, because then I wouldn't, you know, it would, I mean, granted, what does it change? It changes the fact that now if I wanted to go into OV or something, my friend has to come down and walk me in. Yeah. Which isn't the end of the world. It just sounds like more of a hassle. I feel like for as much as people don't like it, like the inconvenient, it's inconvenient. Right.
But like, and I really wonder how this is going to affect like midterms and finals. Now the library is going to be swamped.
Yeah.
People can't study in their rooms. Well, you still can, but like you can only have 2 guests at a time. You can only sign in 2 people at a time. So if you need a big study group with like 3 or 4 people,
just need a quiet room.
Because you're going to see a lot more people going to the library.
Yeah, library gets louder in finals too. So if you want a quiet spot, good luck.
Yeah, all those rooms are going to be taken like that. People are going to camp out there in the mornings, which is an awful thing to do.
The one other thing I was thinking about too is like, if you you said the rules that. Like, you can't have any guests there after midnight or 2 a.m. on the weekends, right?
Unless you have a guest pass.
Yeah. And how many guest passes are you allowed to have? Per night, per person.
So, per person, you're allowed to have 2 overnight guests at a time for a period of 2 days. 2 days, 1 night, I think, is how it goes.
Okay, so only 2 guests per person. And 1 at a time, essentially.
Yeah, but you have a limited number of overnight guest passes in a semester.
Okay, so my question is, on the weekend, it's 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Everyone's, group of friends are hanging out. Some of them are from Haren, some of them are from Lee, some of them are from Jasper.
Yeah.
And I guess what. So what would happen there? Would they...
Well, before it even hit 2 o'clock, the RAs go through...
They actually go through...
We go through all the... IDs that are left, and we, go to the rooms...
A little manhunt action.
Yeah.
So there's no getting out of it?
No.
Like
they're
coming for you?
Yeah, and then we call them, and then if you still don't come down and leave, the policy is that we document it.
Gotcha. And no one wants to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So my question is like, well, that's good and all, But what happens after 2 in the morning and everyone still wants to hang out? All right, so you're confronted with two options: is the fun going to stop? Is the party going to stop? Or are you going to move to another location? But if you can't move to another location, then what are you guys going to do? You're just going to like hang out outside or something? So that,
I think what a lot of people have started doing is I think a lot more people are going out and about in Riverdale than before.
Which is a problem, because I feel like what's going to happen is we're going to get another big wave of community complaints.
Oh, it's already happened.
Rowdy students are in the streets.
It's already happened.
I was talking to my friends about this, and I was saying it's going to come down the pipeline harder than it ever has before, because you're going to have kids in the streets at like 3 a.m. acting ridiculous and, being stupid and stuff, like young kids, like people, like, have like kids with no respect, acting wild, and it's going to cause problems. So it's like, there has to be an alternative, because I think you're naive it's naive to say that everyone's just going to stop hanging out and partying or doing whatever they're doing at 2 a.m. It's just done. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to, like, something's got to be figured out about that. Because, like, what's the worst evil? You have people in the rooms past 2 a.m., or you just have these kids wandering the streets,
Yeah. I feel like their hope is that they wouldn't come to the residence halls to party in the first place.
I think that's just naive too, I don't know. I mean, I'm not taking.
I mean, if we're talking about like amount of incidents that we've had, like the numbers show that like they've gone down.
So yeah, what I would argue is that I think the behavior's not stopping though. I think the incidences are occurring elsewhere now. Like you're not, you know what I mean? But look, I mean, I think the idea is good in principle. I think like I think the cause is noble, but it still needs a little work,
A lot
needs a little work.
A lot of people have brought up the concern of students with disabilities having a more difficult time because they can't use the elevators in the residence halls anymore.
How come?
Because they'd have to get signed in if they didn't live in that building.
Oh yeah, like if you came from Broadway and you wanted to go up through Haren or Lee to get to Jasper.
Yeah, you'd have to go all the way up and around.
It definitely sounds like a lot of this.
So it can be done. It's just like it's a little inconsiderate of students with disabilities.
It definitely sounds like some of this was a little rushed, and like pushed through, and the kind of like secondary and tertiary effects weren't like downstream weren't necessarily thought through. Again, I'm not one of the people who are saying access control, burn it down with the man. Like I get it. I'm not that kind of guy, and I get it. Like I understand the purpose, and I think it's right. I do personally. Like safety first. I get that, and I'll always be there with that. But the rollout could have been a little more smooth. It could have been, just in my opinion.
Yeah,
but,
I think I think, I can only say, cut that.
No, I'm not asking, like, that's, I think we're on the same page here. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, it is, like, it's a kind of situation where it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's like, people are thinking that, like, they can do, like, a protest and a petition, and they'll be like, oh, okay, we'll change it back. It's not going to change back.
No, it's not going to change back.
It's done. It's here forever.
I think it's outlandish to think it would change back, and again, people have to realize why this is being done.
Yeah.
It's being done for the greater good. It's being done for legitimate security reasons, and I get that. They want to have a serious understanding of who was in and not in the building. And I guess if they stop someone and say, hey, what are you doing here? You look suspicious, and they run that name against the residents, and the people that are logged in, they're not there, and it's like, all right, dude, what are you doing here? Who are you? I get that. Like, that, I'm totally with that, especially in this day and age where you have people doing, shootings and crazy stuff and whatever the hell. I get it.
Yeah. I think that, like, the goal should be to, like, improve the policies, not to repeal them, because they're not going away.
Right.
But they can be improved.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think these, like, movements and protests should be more just about, like, all right, how are we gonna meet at the middle? Like, how are we going to get both parties to meet in the middle and be like, hey, I want this, you guys want this, like, let's actually get together instead of just being like, let's protest, burn the whole thing down.
They've made some
here.
changes to, like, the policies, like, on the weekends you could stay till 2 a.m. That was a change.
Oh, okay.
And you know, doing away with the physical guest pass, that was a change.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know, they're not monumental, but it makes things a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess overall, like, after having this discussion, I do definitely think that it's just something that, like, it's a big thing to roll out. It's a big thing, and I can't blame kids for being shocked when they just show up at school and it's like, hey, by the way, buddy.
I think the email went out, like, 2 weeks before school started.
Right, like, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they were prepared for the backlash.
They knew. Come on, it would be totally naive to think that people wouldn't be upset about it.
So
they knew.
If they were trying to minimize backlash, they should have really said it at the end of last semester and let everyone calm down over the summer. Yeah. And then they come back and it's like, it's just the way it is, guys.
Yeah, I've talked to some people in, like, public safety, and some have said that they think that it should have been rolled out in pieces, like a little bit access control here, get used to it, a little bit more here, get used to it, and then people as people get more and more used to it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's a hassle, not a violation of human rights. Like,
oh yeah, seriously, it's not like they're shutting off the water to the building, like, get out, you know,
yeah, exactly,
like fumigating the place or something.
Yeah, it's just, and like, you know, RAs do programs, and sometimes a person from Haren would want to go to Lee to go to a program. Well, now they can't, so that kind of stinks.
Yeah, it does kind of stink.
But
I think there's intelligent solutions for it. I think, you know, the one downfall was it was rolled out quick, and a lot of people were taken by surprise. But if people really just look at it objectively, try to calm down, it can be handled constructively. I don't think people should get all bent out of shape. It can be handled.
Yeah. So I think there are definitely improvements that can be made.
Yeah.
But it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, even me, like, I think it's a hassle.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to sign in, but, like, I get it.
It's a lot of work, but you get it.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Went on that long break. It's really just going to be like a cut. We're not very good at editing.
Yeah, that's
So I'm here with Cedric St Louis. He's a senior here, communications major. So I'll let you take it away. You introduce yourself.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Cedric St Louis. I'm 20. I'm an artist. I think that's all I have to say.
You're 20?
Yeah.
You're a senior and you're 20?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm young. My birthday is, like, coming up, though, November.
Yeah, because we started the same year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea that you were that young.
I've always been younger than everybody in, like, my class.
Dang.
It's kind of annoying.
Man, you're only going to get... When's your birthday?
November 20th.
So you only get to spend, like half the year 21, and it's your senior year.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, something interesting about you, you're, you know, a musical artist. How would you define, like, your music?
I think my music is a timestamp of, like, who I am at the given time. So, like, when I was younger, I used to make a lot of, like, hard-hitting, like, you know, rapping about, you know, violence and stuff like that. But, like, I was immature. But now I'm making stuff that's kind of, like, more emotional, and, like, that's how I've been feeling. So that's, like, me at the time. But, like, now I'm moving on, and I'm making stuff, like, you know, I want to, like, dance to. I don't know. It really just depends on my mood, and I feel like my music is something that helps me grow and learn more about myself. So I would just describe my music as me. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but that's the best way I could, like, put it.
You've changed, and so your music's changed. So, like, you just came out with your second one, Preliminary, and it's been a year since This Can't Be Real. So what's the difference between them? Like, in terms of, like the inspiration, the emotion behind it, and, you know, how it makes you feel, how you want it to make people feel.
This Can't Be Real was kind of like a freshman going into, like, you know, high school, and you're like, okay, like, I want to make my presence known. I want people to know, like, hey, I'm serious about what I'm doing, and I need you to take me seriously. That's why, like, a lot of the songs on there, like, I really try to go with, like, bars, but I tried really, like, making it catchy, too, with, like, the choruses. If you look, like, you see, like, the songs aren't that long on This Can't Be Real, just because I kind of wanted to focus on grabbing people's attention more than working on the actual song itself. With the second EP, Preliminary, I wanted to, like, make bops, you know, like, trap songs. I wanted to see if I could successfully make, like, a trap song, because on the first EP, you didn't really get, like, beats that you did on the second one. And I think it's just showing that, hey, like, I'm still able to, like, you know, go into trap, and I can do rap, and I can do kind of, like, singing, like, you know, songs like Anamalek. So I'm just trying to show how versatile I am, you know. I am working on another EP, which is going to be...
Already?
Yeah, I mean, what else am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm working on another EP, and this one, I'm really, like, nervous about this one, because it's, like, supposed to be, like, This Can't Be Real on crack. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I heard the songs, like, a couple of my friends heard, like, a few songs, and it's way better than, like, This Can't Be Real, but at the same time, I'm kind of, like, nervous still, so I don't know. But this new one, which is called 1222, is, I think, going to, like, let people know, like, okay, this kid has got something going, and he's going to, like, kill it.
There's, like, a growth in character throughout, like, your EPs. Like, you're building and learning, and the audience gets to learn more about you in each of the albums.
Yes.
When you were younger, you made different kind of music than you do now.
Mm-hmm.
So, who inspired you then, and is that different from who inspires you now?
I was a huge fan of Nicki Minaj, like, her wordplay, the way she wrote her lyrics, and just made it seem so effortless. So I was, like, you know, trying to imitate it, you know, like, I would say, like, my flow is a bit similar to hers, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, like, I really like just the way she is so, like, live in her verses, and the way she says, like, some of the things that she says. Like, it's not always about the bars, it's about how you say it, too, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, she used to really inspire me back then, but now, since I'm, like, listening to other artists, there's so many other artists, like Kendrick, SZA, Raven Lenae, YBN, Corday, like, so many artists that I listen to that, like, actually, like, inspire me. Kanye, I could, like, the list goes on and on, but yeah, it definitely has changed.
Do you have, like, a favorite?
A favorite?
It's hard. The hardest thing to do is to pick your favorite artist, because you listen to them all, and you go through phases.
That's a fact. I go through, like, albums.
Yeah.
So it's like an album will come out, and I'll be obsessed with the artist, and then, you know, another album will come out and be like, oh man, and, like, hop on that wave. But it's like I never forget about that album before. Yeah. So, like, a big album for me that made me want to be more creative was The Life of Pablo. Just, like, the different beats, the different flows, the different styles of songs, and, like, how he just worked everything and made it sound so, like, it just sounded amazing, and I was like, I want to be on this level.
I started listening to, like, hip-hop and rap music towards, like, the end of high school, and it was actually Chance the Rapper, for me, who got me into it. Acid Rap, in my opinion, is just one of the best albums, like, ever. My relationship with music has been, like, I used to only listen to, like, top 40 on the radio, because I didn't have an iPod or anything.
Right.
Like, they came out when we were, like...
Yeah, I didn't start listening
like 6
to
or 7,
music till high school, actually, because...
You just listened to whatever's on the radio.
Yeah, like...
Maroon 5 used to be a big thing for me. Like listening to Adam Levine on the car radio is, like, why, like, it got me to start singing. And, you know, I do, like, you know, stuff around right now. So, like, I really get the you know, how your tastes transform as you get older.
Yeah.
Because, like, you get exposed to different things. And, like, most of the time when I don't know how you think about this, but, like, when I listen to the radio now, like, I don't see the same... I don't see the same kind of passion for making music that I do in, like, the other stuff that doesn't get on the radio that I listen to. Like, 'cause there's some good stuff that's on the radio, obviously, like some bops.
So you think people are making music just for, like, the money and just for,
It seems that way sometimes.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not surprised. Like, some people, we have artists that are just making music because it's like, I'm trying to survive out here.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
That's okay. Like,
but-
I will like, the idea of, like, a starving artist is, like, so stupid. Like, you do what you love and make money doing it. But, like,
True.
I think at some point, the love of money became more than the love of music.
That's true.
Like, obviously, you want to do this. You probably want to do this for a long time.
Yeah.
And so,
definitely.
like, when people, 20 years, 30 years from now, look back at your music and what you did, how do you want them to think of it?
I want people to feel happy.
Yeah.
I want people to feel better, to heal. Not a lot of people are, like, healing out here.
Yeah.
People are just kind of, like, shoving things in and forgetting them. You can't do that because it's really bad, It comes back. So if you listen to my song and, like, deal with it and cry and get over it, that's way better than just holding something in.
Yeah.
I like some of my music because I don't always make, like, sad music like that.
Wait. You gotta put some bops in there.
Yeah, people want to dance too. They gotta dance.
Yeah.
So
Dancing is healing.
exactly.
Sometimes. I'm not a good dancer, but.
But it's making you happy, and that's
Do you
what it's
dance?
all about.
Do you dance too?
I dance. No, like, I know how to dance, but I don't dance like, practice choreography.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
yeah. I would
But when
love to,
when you're in the club and.
Oh, of course. Of course, like.
Yeah,
I hear the song, I'm dancing.
I'm out there looking like a wobbly block of wood.
You don't have to do a lot though. You could just, do a little snap. If you can't dance,
I do
I feel like.
the middle school two-step where you just kind of have a drink and you're like.
Yeah, and you know what? If you can't dance, that's like your go-to dance. Like, just do that. Nobody's asking you to do a whole lot.
Yeah. I know you used to be a chemical engineer and then you switched to communication. That's like a
Junior
crazy switch. Junior
Yeah.
year you switched? That's a crazy switch.
year, crazy decision, stupid. Cause like,
So what changed?
okay, so I went into school. I didn't even want to go here.
Oh.
I wanted to go to Bing, right? But I didn't get in, upsettingly. And
That's Binghamton?
Binghamton,
Okay.
yes. So this was like not even like my second choice, but this was where I got like the most money off. So I was like, okay, like I'll come here. Like it's in the city too. Like I'm gonna be in the city. I'm gonna be an artist. Okay, so I come in as a chemical engineer. It's cool, like it. Like seeing everything. Like the first couple classes, freshman year, like they're easy, great. Second semester, we're enjoying it, but we're kind of going through it. Then sophomore year comes, and I'm like, okay, wait, this is kind of hard. But I still push through because I'm like, okay, like I'm still doing well. I'm still passing my classes. I'm not passing with good grades, but then again, I'm an engineer, and it's hard.
Mm.
But then, like, when I got into junior year, that's when things really, like, oh my gosh. First of all, the major is only, like, 30 kids. 30 kids in the chemical engineering department in the our year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only black kid. Kind of felt really weird. Kind of felt like alone, you know what I'm saying? I just felt like I couldn't really relate to everybody else because everybody else seemed to get it. Everybody else seemed to know what to do, and I was just like falling behind. I was failing classes. I was like beginning to be so depressed because I'm like, yo, like I'm really dumb. I'm not getting these things. Yeah, like it really gets to you when you like study so hard for a test and you still get like a 32. And I'm just like, what do you do? So part of me being an engineer was because of like my mother, and she's like, you need a good job, like you need to do this. Like I come from like a single parent home, so I really wanted to make her proud. I'm like, I can't fail, so that's why I kind of continued with engineering. But then I was like, yo, I can't do this. Like I'm only hurting myself. So then I finally decided to switch spring semester of junior year, and I was terrified to tell my mom, but when I did, she was like, I think it might be best for you because you're not even doing that well. So that was great. Like the conversation went well. Then I switched.
Well, really all they want is, in the end, all they want is you
Yeah.
to be happy. And like when they tell you got to get a good job, it's because they think like, oh, that's what they'll make them happy.
Exactly.
So.
But when I switched, it was like so much better. Like a weight off my shoulders. I was doing so much better in my classes. I actually, didn't feel dumb. So that was good. So that's
good.
why I mostly switched.
We'll end it on a really positive note.
Mm-hmm.
What's been your proudest moment so far in your music career?
There's so many little things. I don't know if
Gotta cherish little things. The little things
Right,
make up
it's
the
like-
whole
random people, not really random people, but people you wouldn't expect, like reposting something and sharing it, like people actually liking your stuff, people like coming up to you. I had a friend come up to me and said like, yo, like you don't know how much this song like helped me, and I was like, what? Like I didn't even make that to, like I didn't even think anybody would like that. I just made it, and they were like, no, like thank you. And sometimes I really doubt myself because I don't really think my stuff is as good as other people think it is. That's why I like get surprised every time someone likes it. But I would say just like the support from everybody, because I didn't expect that, you know, for everybody to be on board and like asking me to do interviews, you know, like that's just like that's a really big thing. So
We like interesting people.
thank you.
Yeah. So plug yourself. We love a good plug on the Quadcast.
So if you follow my Instagram, the link for my like YouTube and SoundCloud should be on there. If not, just Google me on just Google Cedric St Louis, and I think my SoundCloud should pop up, or YouTube, and follow it and subscribe.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
So just want to say thank you again to Cedric. Great interview.
Yeah.
So this time we got a little bit of, world news this time.
Did you?
Yeah, exactly.
Current events.
Exactly. Trying to branch out a little bit. So, Dr. Ian.
Dr. Ian Richter here on call.
He's done his research.
24/7, 365. Dr. Ian is here to talk to you about everything we know about the vape panic. Now, I've been
Talk about vapes. This is what you go away for summer and you talk about vapes when you come back. That's what happens.
And you come back and the sky's falling and vapes are killing everybody and people can't get into their dorms. It's chaos at Manhattan College. No, so I've been following this. I'm not a vapor myself, but I think this is really interesting because of the potential ramifications. Like everybody vapes. Like so many people vape. So it's like, is vapes going to kill everyone? We're going to have a massive human die-off or something? Like, what's going on here? So I've done the research, and I'll give you my personal belief, like what I thought was going on.
All right, give us the facts. Give us your belief.
There's a story here.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I'm going to tell you what I thought I knew, what I believe was going on, prior to doing my actual kind of just like looking brief research. So
I think what you mean is years and years of
years and years of medical school
Yeah.
and my residency and all that. Yeah, it
course.
was a lot of hard work, a lot of money, but
And now you're an expert.
I'm a millionaire and I'm an expert at vaping.
I'm a vapeologist.
Vapologist.
Yeah.
So, what I thought was going on was that if you noticed the statements from the CDC, they were always saying that the people that were falling ill, they were using nicotine vapes, but they were also using like marijuana THC oil vapes.
Okay.
And I was like, that's interesting. Because my thought process was, well, why would a company like Juul, this tremendously successful company who made so much money, so much to lose, right? There's so much to lose. Why would they open themselves up to, such intense liability? At least with big tobacco, it was like, okay, it took people a long time to die, and by the time they knew they were going to die, it was like, hey, buddy, we knew about this, like, this was coming, you could have quit 10 years ago kind of thing. But this is, like, fast. People are getting sick. People are dropping like that. You know what I mean?
How many deaths have there been?
Maybe, this article was published on September 5th, and this one was September 11th. And as of September 11th, we've got 6 people dead and 450 non-fatal at the time of this being written. So
60 or 16?
6.
Six.
Just 6.
Sorry.
I think the number's risen, but anyway, I forgot what I was saying before. But so they use both products, right? And why would Juul open itself up to that much liability? It's kind of weird. Like, why would Juul knowingly put something in its product that it knew? Because let's be honest, they're going to be doing the research on what they're putting in. It's not like they're just going to willy-nilly throw this stuff together, get out there, start smoking it, right? Like, they're going to do their research. They probably know everything already, and they're just kind of letting the FDA figure it out as they go. It would make zero sense to me if Juul had no idea what they were doing, you know? Especially with all the money they make. So why would they open themselves up to so much liability to start killing people with their product in such a fast period of time? Because like I said, at least with big tobacco, like, people knew it was coming, this is your choice, and all that. But with, like, this, it's like, if your product's killing people like that, like, you're opening yourself up to lawsuits, liability, etc., etc. So it doesn't make sense to me that they would put out a product that would be dangerous that they knew about, you know? And odds are they would know if their product is dangerous after doing all their research and development. The thing that got me was the THC oil vapes. Because that stuff, that's obviously black market stuff if you're in an illegal state, right? Which the majority of states are.
Yeah.
So, if it's coming off the black market, you don't know what they're putting in there, right? Like, this stuff could be coming from China, right?
I guess so.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, totally. You have no idea if you're getting this off the street, right? It's just oil, and it's like, here you go, bro. Throw in your vape, start ripping it. How do you know? You got to test it at home. You don't know. They could be cutting it. They could be doing whatever. So that's kind of where I was. I was like, I'm doubtful if it's the nicotine vapes. I think, personally, it's the THC vapes. That was my opinion going into this mini investigation I did. Now, if we look at the literature, this is an article from The Gothamist titled Everything We Know About the Vape Panic by Clara Lampin.
Very reliable.
Yep, very reliable. I guess I don't really read The Gothamist, but this sounded like she did research here. So, and I quote, taken as a supplement or applied in creams, vitamin E is harmless. But when inhaled as an oil, as a thickening agent in vape juice, for example, it may cause lipoid pneumonia, the disease that landed a number of recent vaping casualties in the hospital. Investigators found vitamin E acetate in almost all the cannabis samples submitted by sick New Yorkers in recent weeks. Cannabis samples. Vitamin E oil appears to be an additive. The FDA did not find it in the nicotine vape juice it tested, meaning the standard issue Juul pod you bought direct from the manufacturer shouldn't have it. However, the FDA did say, though, no one substance, including vitamin E acetate, has been identified in all the samples tested. So when they're saying samples tested, I don't know if they're just leaving that to only nicotine vapes. Are they referring to nicotine and THC vapes? Is it only THC vapes? I don't know what they're testing. They haven't published stuff yet in terms of their research. Now, lipoid pneumonia is a rare condition that occurs when fat particles enter the lungs. This is from Healthline. Exogenous lipid pneumonia specifically occurs when the fat particles enter from the outside of the body and reach the lungs via the nose or the mouth. So lipid, fat, oils, stuff like that, the vitamin E acetate oil in this case, and pneumonia. Obvious. You all know what pneumonia is. Now, did I highlight anything else in here? So, I think what I thought previously sounds like it's getting validated. And if you just apply Occam's razor here, it makes total sense. The most simple answer is probably the solution. Probably what's happening here is that the black market manufacturers of this oil are cutting it with the vitamin E acetate because from what I read, apparently it is very viscous, very oily, so you can cut your product with that and then sell it. And they don't care because it's not going to come back to them. They're making money. It's black market. That's it. It makes complete sense.
So
why would Juul or any other established open market vape company open themselves up to that kind of liability?
Here's a hot take conspiracy theory for you.
Yeah, let's go.
So obviously vapes are cutting into big tobacco, right? Taking a little market share away.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's say down in Washington, or you know, in Albany
Right.
or in New York or wherever, they got their big tobacco lobbyists out there like, oh, this research, these vapes, they're killing people. It's all vapes. When in actuality, if you do the research, it's looking like it's really just the THC cannabis vapes. But they're saying, oh, no. It's all vapes.
Yeah.
And so big tobacco's in there trying to get Juul and all these other vapes out of there.
Look, there's precedent. There's precedent for stuff like that
I think big tobacco's trying to make a comeback.
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, when you think about it, it makes complete sense because now you have all these new kids that are addicted to nicotine again. You get rid of the vapes. Hey, guess what, buddy? Going back to Bogues, you know?
Yeah.
So,
it's just I don't know. I just think it's like the dumbest thing. Like to vape in general, like to smoke, I like with all the knowledge that we have now, like it's a conscious choice to like, I feel like dying. That's how I feel. Like it's just total disregard for your well-being.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, personally, I'm just like, I don't care. Do whatever the hell you want to. I'm not like that's.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
do
me
what
on
you
like a
want,
political,
but,
like social political sense. I'm like, hey, you're not hurting anybody. Go for it, bro. You know, I don't care. Like, this is the person's like kind of stuff. But
like, if we're thinking about it though, like these people, like you smoke. Yeah, do whatever you want, but at the same time, like, I reserve the right to think you're dumb for
for sure,
for knowing the risks and still doing it.
Sure, absolutely.
And like, if you're using vapes to get off of cigarettes, great.
Good for you.
More power to you. Vape all you want. But if you're some 16-year-old kid who vapes for nicotine or because your friends think it's cool, it's so dumb.
That's the thing, though.
It's so dumb.
If you're
It's just so dumb.
If you're a 16-year-old kid, I don't even think you have the decision-making, like, you know, prowess yet to even, you know, really look at it like that.
My brain isn't even fully formed yet.
Your friend gives you a mint Juul, it feels good, and you get a nicotine rush, and you're like, damn, this is great.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're addicted, and you didn't know anything else, you know? I don't know if I could blame a 16-year-old kid. I was a stupid 16-year-old kid too one day. We all were.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
like, I'm still gonna think you're an idiot. Like,
You're such a dad.
Honestly, I'm okay with that.
Don't take anything I say as like gospel. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I read 2 articles and I like to think about stuff. Personally, though, my advice, personally, don't vape anything until the CDC comes out and tells you what's safe and what's not safe.
Yeah.
That's my thing. For all we know, Juul could be safe. Great. CDC will come out and say, these brands we tested, they're good, they're safe. We have no reason to believe that within any short period of time you will see any health risks. Great, done deal.
Yeah.
Go back to what you were doing. But personally, I would advocate don't touch anything until they finish the investigation. Because now this stuff is happening, I wouldn't touch anything.
Yeah.
This is just me gossiping. I don't know.
Don't touch cigarettes. That's just a PSA in general for life.
Makes your breath smell bad, bro.
It does.
Clothes smell bad.
You always, like, you could be 20 feet away and be like, oh, who's smoker?
Yeah, right.
Like,
You know, I was smoking at that time. It smells bad. So, yeah, I think this is very interesting. I think the interesting thing is that it's happening now. Like, everyone was like, oh, yeah, vaping's gonna start killing people, you know, in like 45 years. It's gonna be like our cigarettes kind of thing. And it's like, oh, back to school, people are dropping dead. What's going on, you know?
I'm fully in that big tobacco conspiracy theory.
Imagine.
Maybe I'll start it. Maybe I'll make a YouTube channel.
Well,
Shane Dawson that.
I'm sure Big Tobacco's been fighting vaping for a while now anyway. I'm sure they've been fighting that fight.
For
you know, they're trying to get people smoking cigarettes.
I want to know who in, like, Washington, like, votes pro Big Tobacco so that I can write them strongly worded letters and not vote for them.
Yeah, because that's going to be a great change, right? Yeah, in a perfect world, right? The other thing I was going to say, though, is I did hear, like, some of these people that were dying were, like, older people that, like, had other health risks, too, and complications. So, The other thing is, like, I can't take any of this news at extreme face value because all we hear is this many people were sick, we think it's related to vaping. This many people died, we think it's related to vaping. But it's like, that's all you hear. And me, like, just me personally, I'm the kind of guy who was like, well, all right, how did he die? Are you sure it's related to vaping? Or was he just a vapor and we're saying it's related to vaping so we get more clicks on our articles here? Like, there's a lot of hysteria. There's a lot of flip out, you know? But it's interesting. This is very interesting what's going on.
Yeah.
Very
well,
interesting.
we're going to have to see, you know, where it turns what the CDC says. And,
yeah, I think
you know, hopefully people just stop getting addicted to nicotine.
Yeah, just get addicted to coffee like me.
Yeah.
It's a lot safer, I hope.
Yeah.
I think. All right.
So many drugs in the world.
Stop doing drugs, kids.
Yeah, no drugs.
Don't do drugs, kids.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.
You can find us at these places. Greg?
Great. Figure it out. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, right here and right here.
Boop.
Boop.
Greg's gonna be like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
He's gonna want to kill you.
So we'll see you in the next episode. And reach out to us if you've got anything that, you know, you want us to talk about. If you want to be a guest on the show, let us know. Hit us up. And,
Instagram. Hit up the hosts. Hit up the Quadcast profile.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the
I think
handle
we're on
is.
Twitter too.
Are we on Twitter?
Might be on Twitter.
The Twitter sphere. Just do Instagram.
Yeah.
If you don't have
Instagram's
Instagram,
better.
get your friend who has Instagram to hit us up.
Yeah.
I'm not putting my phone number out there. All
Nope.
right.
Nope.
People are gonna.
I will though. It's Greg. It's
All right. Bye, guys.
I see.
All right, that was pretty good. That was fun.
Yeah.
That wasn't.